Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the top 10 draft picks projected for the 2023 NHL Draft, also known as the Connor Bedard Draft. We'll be taking a look at that in today's video. So let's start off with a couple of Swedish guys. We got a pair of Swedes to start off our top 10 here for the 2023 NHL Draft. Now, I do have to throw the caveat, guys, we're 2 years away from this draft. A lot can change in the next 2 years. There's an Italian guy that's projected to go in the top 15. He may go in the 7th round. He may go undrafted. He may go first overall. We don't necessarily know how this draft will fall. There's too much uncertainty, so just use this with a grain of salt, but it's some good information. Just if you're a team that maybe might not be so good in a couple of years, maybe the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Coyotes, Buffalo Sabres, whatever your team is, we could look back at this and laugh at it, or we could look back and be like, yeah, that was pretty damn close. So, all right, so I wanted to throw the standard caveat for these draft prospect videos, but let's get right into it. So, I also want to give some credit to Elite Prospects. You can look at all the information on their website, and that's where I got my information for today's video. So, Otto Stenberg is the first guy on our list. He was drafted in 2005, and like a lot of Swedish players, playing with the Frölunda HC. He's playing with the Junior 18 team, but he looks to be a pretty solid prospect. He's a forward. Otto Stenberg, again, we're kind of in this, we're looking at the nationalities and trying to make comparisons. It's kind of hard for a guy like this, but that's kind of what you're looking at with Otto Stenberg. Isaac Headqvist is playing in Lilia with the HF Junior 18 team, so he's playing in the same league, the Junior SHL team there in Sweden. So you got a pair of Swedes to start off our list at number 10 and at number 9. At number 8, we finally have a little bit of some different blood here. We have 5 Canadians in the top 10, and we're starting off with a goaltender. The first goaltender in the top 10, really, because it doesn't seem like there's going to be a top 10 goaltender in 2022. It seems like that next conversation will be in 2023. It was supposed to be Jesper Wallstedt here in 2021. It was supposed to be back in 2019. It was supposed to be at Yaroslav Askarov. And back in 2018, it was supposed to be Spencer Knight. And well, it looks like in 2022, Alexandre Lazier is the goaltender to be that top goaltender. And Lazier, depending on how he does, could potentially be a guy that we see maybe move up into that conversation as a top 5 goaltender, but he could also fall to number 20, like we saw with Wallstedt, like we've seen with Askarov and Spencer Knight. It just depends on how it works out. But I think there is some interest in Lazier as a good goaltender. He's playing with the St. Francois Blizzard. I assume he will be in the QMJHL next year or the next 2 years. But again, you have to remember he's still so young. He's only, 2005? I'm not good at math. He's only 16 years old, turning 17, so there's still a lot of development from Lazier before he ever touches NHL ice. He's at least 4, if not maybe even 5 years from NHL ice at this point, because he's still 2 years from his draft, and he's probably another 2 years away from NHL status from that point. Maybe a year, but let's be honest, probably 2 years at the least. So there is Alexandre Lazier, and that's probably the most interesting guy we're looking at today. Now, that doesn't mean click off. I think it's just interesting to see that there is projected to be a goaltender there. You also have Braden Yager, who is a forward, and he's also Canadian. He's playing with the Moose Jaw Warriors out in the WHL. They are the WHL, right? Yes. Okay, so he's playing in the dub with the Moose Jaw Warriors. Now we're heading back to Europe. We got Slovakian Dalibor Dvorsky, who is a forward. He's got a great name. So another Slovak, which I think is interesting because we saw in the 2022 draft. Make sure to check that video out. It's pretty much the Connor Bedard draft. But in that top 10, we saw 4 Slovaks drafted in the top 10, or projected to be drafted in the top 10. So we see another one here with Dalibor Dvorsky. Now moving up, we've got Mitchell Brooks, who is from Ontario. He is playing with the Toronto Titans in the under-16 AAA. Mitch Brooks is projected to be a top 5 guy, so we'll see what happens there. Adam Fantilli. Now, I do have a little bit more information on Fantilli. He'll be a little more interesting. Now, he was born in 2004, so he'll actually be one of the overagers in this draft. He is playing with the USHL's Chicago Steel for this season, and next season he has already announced that he is committed to the University of Michigan, that absolute powerhouse. So expect to see Adam Fantilli spend at least a season, maybe 2, with the University of Michigan before joining the NHL. But Adam Fantilli, there is a lot of hype around this kid going in the top 5. And now another name we've been hearing a lot about over the past year or so is Matvei Michkov, the forward from the KHL over in Russia. Matvei Michkov, the Russian, he is projected to be the next Russian sniper in the NHL. He's projected to be one of those high-end class players, a Tarasenko, a Ovechkin ex-player, a newer blood guy like Kirill Kaprizov. He's been drawing a lot of comparisons to those guys. He's playing in the SKA with the St. Petersburg, and you look at what he's done in the World Juniors for the past couple of seasons, well, really the past 2 World Junior Championships. He's been one of the standout players in those leagues. So watch out for Matvei Michkov as a potential top 3, if not potential top 2. He may even be one of the top guys going in this draft, potentially number 1. But there is some competition. Because now we're looking at the forward, the American, the only American on this list here in the top 10, Alex Weymeier. He's a forward, and he is born in the 2005 class, so he's a younger guy at 16 years old right now. He is playing in 2022. He will be playing with that very coveted U.S. national team development program in the under-17 team this season here in 2021 and 2022. So watch out for Alex Weymeier. He is projected to be a top 2 draft pick. So I think Michkov and Weymeier and the first overall pick that we'll get to in a minute, those 3 guys seem to be in a tier of their own. But I think a lot of people would argue it's Weymeier, Michkov, and then this guy in his own category. And now that you've got a little bit of blue balls, let's get to the WHL forward that already was he WHL Player of the Year or something like that. It's Connor Bedard. And not many guys have been given that tag of, I forgot what it's called, when you get to play at a year younger as a it's the exempt list, something like that. We've seen Aaron Ekblad get that. We've seen Joe Veleno get that. We've seen John Tavares get that. That is some pretty high-end class exclusivity, and Connor Bedard is in that category. He's playing in the WHL with the Regina Pats out in the big Western Hockey League. So Connor Bedard seems to be the guy in that draft class. And a lot of people are drawing comparisons between next year's draft in 2022 and 2023. Connor Bedard seems to be that next high-end class forward. And it's no discredit to Owen Power in this draft and no discredit to Shane Wright in next year's draft. But Connor Bedard seems to be the guy in this draft over the next couple years to keep an eye on. So keep an eye on him in Regina in the WHL for this season and next season because Connor Bedard is the guy everybody is watching. So now you may be wondering, Kevin, why are you wearing a Pittsburgh Penguins jersey? And we just talked about Connor Bedard, and we just talked about how he is a franchise-altering player. Yeah, guys, I'm about to say that. So, I wore a Coyotes jersey for 2022 because I don't know if they're going to be there in 2023. So, if we're going to be honest, and I don't think Buffalo's winning the draft lottery next year. Again, some people will laugh and say, yeah, they did. I think there's going to be some different teams. Maybe Anaheim gets in that mix, but I'm not confident. I really think Arizona will win the first overall pick next year and get Shane Wright. And I think in 2023, the Pittsburgh Penguins with like the 8th or the 10th worst team in the NHL would win the draft lottery and select Connor Bedard to be the next phase of the franchise, the next face of the NHL, Connor Bedard to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know, it seems like, oh, Kevin, why are you doing this? They went from Mario Lemieux right to Crosby. They may be going right from Sidney Crosby to a guy like Connor Bedard. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. 2 questions for you. 1, who do you think will go first overall in the 2023 draft? Because I think these 3 guys in particular, really 4, this is a really good draft at the top. You got Fantilli, Michkov, Weymeier, and Bedard. Who will go first overall, and who will get the first overall pick in that said 2023 draft class? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, make sure to check out our Streamlabs shop in the description down below. If you want to support the channel, maybe buy some Goal Line Hockey merch, make sure to check that out. I think I got mugs, I got caps, I have a hat, a sweatshirt, a backpack if back to school. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to check that out. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.